Hi, welcome to my biology class. Today let's go with Mollusca. Mollusca, the second largest phylum, number one. Number two, they are soft-bodied animal with a shell. Highly protective covering is there as a shell, calcium carbonate shell. But does this shell present in all the animals of this phylum? No. The cephalopods, a group wherein the shell is there is no shell at all in octopus, but there are some animals in this class have got an internal shell, like the squid and the slug have got an internal shell also. So these are all the small note. And with this, let us get into the phylum Mollusca. Start with habitat. Where do they live? They live in water as well as on land. You could see the snail on land, and this freshwater mussel, this octopus, everything in water. Water in the sense they are both marine as well as freshwater forms. So they fit themselves to any kind of pH, and that indicates that they are marine as well as freshwater. You talk about the habit. They are triploblastic, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. They've got a bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means that it will be cut into two equal halves only in one plane. But the snail is asymmetrical. Snail you cannot cut into two equal halves in any direction. It is asymmetrical. And euscoelomic. They've got a true coelom. And so the digestive tract and then outer body wall, center there will be a coelomic fluid to hold the visceral organs. And what else? Their body is unsegmented, there is no segment at all. This is about their habit. And when talk about the shell, it is calcareous shell covering, and it is secreted by mantle. And what is mantle? Mantle is nothing but folds of skin. That there is multifolds of skin formed in the body, and there is actually the body is divided into three important regions: head, visceral hump, and then foot. So three regions will be there: head region, and then the visceral structure, and then there is a foot region. And in still more higher category like this one, the sepia or octopus, when you go sepia, you could see head, collar, and trunk. So the collar here considered to be a neck, not exact neck. Neck is going to come in future like that. And the trunk is a combination of thorax and abdomen. So here the body goes like that. And this group is advanced cephalopods. And many features are varying from this primitive classes to a higher classes. Let's discuss. And mantle cavity, that the space between, I said, the space between the visceral hump and the mantle is called mantle cavity. And this cavity is the place where the anus opens and the gills are releasing the content, that then exchange takes place. It's very important place for most of the vital functions in this animal. When you talk about the digestive system, digestive system is complete, full, that is from mouth to anus. Mouth to anus has started there itself. We have seen in Aschelminthes annelida. Here something special, mouth has got a buccal cavity. So buccal cavity, in the sense it should have some extra fittings like a tongue or a teeth or a palate kind. But here the tongue-like structure, tongue in the sense, the tongue is helpful for rotating the food. Here also the tongue, but the tongue is fixed with the transfer row of teeth. So the tongue with the teeth, this organ is called radula. Radula is very much helpful to masticate, so scrap the food and the piece of a food get into the throat region. So here it goes with the esophagus, stomach, and then intestine, and ends with the anus. And the stomach secretes the fluid for a digestion, and intestine also goes with the secretion. So the digestive system is pure and fully developed and opens into the mantle. The anus connected with the mantle cavity, and this is and extracellular digestion, because there is a system, obviously it has to go for an extracellular digestion. And when you come down to the next system, respiratory system is also well developed because as I said, the animals are living as in water as well as on land. So in water means they have to respire with the help of gills. Gills also, they go with the primitive type of gills to the advanced type of gills. Gills are present in the folds in the mantle and opens into the mantle cavity and exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide. And when you come down to the terrestrial form, the gills will not work out here. They go with the pulmonary sac. Pulma means lung. So, but here it is not a developed lung, a sac kind of a thing in a primitive forms, and gradually it is getting elevated to the lung. It's not a lung with how we have got an alveoli and other things. Lung, it's a non-vascularized region, like that it is present, but lung has originated here. So the respiration is developed. The respiration is good in the sense, obviously there will be a nervous system because a continuous supply of oxygen will be there. So there is a brain kind of a thing would have developed, and the animal size is also getting bigger and bigger. You know that this is the phylum which has got a largest invertebrate. The giant squid belong to this phylum. Because of the respiratory system is well developed, so the continuous supply of oxygen will be there in the brain. And when you go with the circulatory system, this is also well developed. Well developed in the sense, when you talk about the heart, it is developed. But one primitive retrogressive evolution is worked out here because there is no blood vessels. It ends up with the open blood vascular system. But that also cannot be complete. The entire phylum is having a open blood vascular system means no. There is a cephalopod category like the squid and the sepia, octopus and all have got a closed blood vascular system. So this is going here and there. So retrogressive and progressive evolution is exhibited by this phylum, wherein you have an open blood vascular system. There is no pigments, nothing like, they don't have hemolymph is there. Hemolymph is colorless, that is mixing with the body fluid, hemoshield, and then it is supplying the oxygenated thing to all the cells. So this has happened without any blood vessel. So in case if they have a blood vessel like a cephalopods, they've got a hemocyanin pigment, and that too something special. Like when you talk about the pila and all, pila they've got only two chambers are present, and here they've got a 3 chambered and 2 auricle and 1 ventricle and all. Still more advanced category goes with the squid and all. You could see that there are 3 chambers, 3 hearts rather, you could say as a chamber, 3 hearts and 2 branchial heart, that is very at the base of a gills, and 1 ventricular heart. This ventricular heart to supply oxygenated blood to all part of the body, and this branchial hearts receives the deoxygenated blood and getting oxygenated with the help of a gills and then supply. So it's something designed. So later on everything clubbed to become a single heart with the chamber, 2 chamber, 3 chamber, 4 chamber, it ends up in the evolution. So the circulatory system is good here. And when you go with the excretory system has got 1 or 2 pairs of kidney. It is not like a individual nephridia or nephrostoma, nothing like that. It's a kidney. So the kidney has got a entire thing present inside, and then removing the metabolic waste and releasing from the body. That also releases into the mantle cavity. And it depends on the animal's survival place, either in water or in land. It may be an ammonotelic or it is an uricotelic. It depends on the place where it lives. And the nervous system is pretty well developed because the respiratory system is also well developed. Nervous system in the sense they've got ganglions, a pair of ganglions, and sometimes it's considered to be a primitive brain. It is a brain kind, and the cords are going well, and 2 or 3 cords are going to carry the impulses. And the nervous system, when you talk about the brain growth, is important. So ganglion is started to become a brain here, and because the cephalum is well developed in case of cephalopods, the name itself indicates the head is very good. So if the head has come, surely there is sense organs. Sense organs are well developed. See, there is a head with eyes, and here there are eyes, and eyes are pretty well, and the head has got appendages here, tentacles, and you see this tentacles here. With the help of this, they capture the food from the long distance, and when it comes very close to that, this oral arms are picking up that and put it into the mouth. So they work according to the sense. And here, rather you can call them as a tentacles, it is the arms even, and they also have got a small minute sticking things like to capture the food and put it. So arms, rather it is a tentacle. And when you talk about the snail, they also have got a tentacle, though it is a land animal, but the tentacle is highly concised, so you can call them as an antenna. So the head region has got eyes, antenna, and they've got osphaeridium. Osphaeridium is a chemosensor. They see what kind of a chemical present in it, and stratocyst is present for the animal which lives in water for the body balance. So all these are the sense organs are advanced. So the nervous system on the whole considered to be an advanced system. And when you come down to the reproduction is dioecious. Like you can see the animal, male and female, and they go for a mating, and courtship is there, and most of the animals are oviparous, and they release the eggs. And in that you could see the external or internal fertilization happens, or direct development or indirect development with larva. So larva, when you talk about the trochophore larva, is the most common larva in molluscans. Apart from that, so this freshwater mussel make the Glaucidium larva. And when you talk about the Pila globosa, the Veliger larva is a common one. So the larva is very common here. And about economic importance, this is the highly valuable phylum when you talk about the economy, because the pearl oyster belong to this category, and these animals are edible, so they capture and they eat. So this is about mollusca. And so when you talk about mollusca, you should know the technical terms, especially the devilfish means octopus, and cuttlefish, and here, and then the mussels, freshwater mussel, snails, and all this, and then some exceptional like Neopolina is a segmented one. So the exceptional cases, and the circulatory system exception, which has got a closed blood vascular and open blood vascular system. So exceptional points are very important in this. That's all about this phylum. If you have further doubt or any clarification you require, please put it in the comment section. We'll discuss. Subscribe and share. Thank you very much.